As Forza Horizon 5 comes careering towards its November 9th release date, Playground Games have been awfully kind about letting us in on just what we can expect from it. Between their stunning Gamescom show and the steady supply of behind-the-scenes sneak peeks provided by the Let's Go live streams, we're starting to get a pretty clear picture of what the new game is ultimately going to look like. And it looks really, really good. So here are all the latest tidbits and teasers we picked up as we all eagerly await the game's day one arrival on Xbox Game Pass. Having given us a wide-angle view of what Forza Horizon 5's world will look like in a recent Let's Go stream, Playground Games used their Gamescom show to let us see more of how it will look like from ground level. And to put it bluntly, it looks sick. But before we even got to see any new gameplay, we were treated to a look at the brand new limited edition Forza Horizon 5 controller, which is available for pre-order today, meaning you'll be able to race around Mexico with the latest hardware. The design really encompasses that festival flavor, with a vibrant colorway, a translucent cover that reveals all the inner workings of the controller, plus there's a cheeky Forza logo printed on the front of it. The buttons really pop, with pink and blue splashes thrown in amongst the yellows and all of the usual features you'd expect, like the new style D-pad, the share button, and those grips on the triggers. Needless to say, this is going to be a must-have for all die-hard Forza fans out there. The event we saw basically runs through the game's opening section, in which one of the cover cars, the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands, hops out of the back of an airplane, gently parachutes its way down towards the ground, and then not so gently begins tearing down the side of that big old volcano we've been seeing in the trailers. Charging down from its snow-capped peaks towards hot sands down below provided an ideal look at how the game's map morphs as you move between biomes and seasons, with lakes drying up and freezing over, rainy season arriving over the farmlands, and tropical thunderstorms crashing over the coast. The Bronco Badlands is a great heaving beast of a car, making it the perfect vehicle to smash through some of the rockier terrain. But the game's introductory session isn't just going to let you get comfy inside that rolling fortress. Instead, the Forza Horizon 5 opening section quickly segues towards another airdrop, this time with a 2020 Corvette Stingray powering through the farmlands. And then it repeats the trick again with a Porsche 911 Desert Flyer cannonballing its way through the jungle. And then we hop out of the sky once more in the other cover vehicle, the Mercedes AMG 1, to race our way towards the festival. And that last part is particularly exciting because the AMG 1 is basically Formula 1 tech inside a road-legal body, enabling it to glide forward at the sort of insane speed which makes the airplane it's swooping under actually look kinda sluggish. Because of how realistic Forza Horizon 5's handling is, big meaty vehicles like the Bronco are obviously going to be better suited to some of the more rugged terrain featured in the game. In fact, you'll actually find that all of the cars handle more realistically than ever before, with Playground Games using their extended 3-year development period to pull off some major stuff like totally rebuilding the game's suspension system physics, or reworking the brake pads so that they grab the discs much more gradually. And staying true to the spirit of the Horizon series, these changes both make the game more realistic and more accessible for gamers who are just out looking for some fast-paced hijinks. And with the latter group in mind, rest assured that no matter what you're driving, you're always going to be able to make it across the entire map, potentially just with a bit more elbow grease than it otherwise would have taken. So if you think a sleek hypercar is the best way to travel through a swamp, that's your business, and your business alone. Taken all together, the intro section provides a snapshot of what the full game has to offer. From off-road exploration to pure racing action, death-defying stunts to lazy rides along the highway. Playground Games has even confirmed that the game will totally accommodate players who have no interest whatsoever in racing, ideal for all you virtual tourists out there. Whatever road you're looking to take, you can bet you'll find it in Forza Horizon 5. Even before the Gamescom show had started, Playground delighted fans by giving them their first proper look at what Forza Horizon 5's full map will look like. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words after all, and this made for one heck of a picture. The first thing you notice when feasting your eyes on Forza's vast Mexican vistas is the sheer scale of everything on it. The map itself is 1.5 times bigger than Forza Horizon 4's drizzly British open world, with a gigantic volcano at the centre which provides the highest vantage point ever to appear in a Forza Horizon title. And you can bet there are 100 ways to go tearing down those towering slopes, almost all of which are profoundly inadvisable and insanely fun. But if you fancy something a little more cooling, you can head over to the jungle, where you'll find lush greenery, a host of gorgeous temples based on real-life Mexican sites, and an absolutely massive series of waterfalls called Agua Azul. True to their name though, they do feature some of the most beautifully blue water you'll ever drive a supercar through, as well as 3D mud, which is apparently fully deformable if that's the sort of thing you're into. To dry off afterwards, you can take a jaunt over the game's ginormous canyon, which runs about 2/3 of the way across the entire map. Your engine will never sound more powerful than when you're rumbling through this rocky corridor with ray-traced audio effects to ensure that every note bounces around perfectly. Just be aware that you won't be the only one making noise down there, as there's a big old train chugging around the canyon too. And if you're looking to carve a direct path straight through the heart of Mexico without getting bogged down in a swamp or battered by cacti, Forza Horizon 5 is also packing the biggest highway the series has ever seen. A sprawling tarmac beast which winds all the way from one corner of the map to another. The quick tour of the map which Playground provided also highlighted the sort of super fun areas you'd be more likely to hear about in a tourist guidebook, like the gigantic El Estadio Horizon, which is the perfect place to put your events lab creations on center stage, or the buzzing city of Guanajuato, where you take in the sights and sounds of modern Mexico before heading back out into the wilds. But while we can't wait to visit all these places, the really exciting thing about the map reveal is just how much there will be for us all to discover for ourselves. With so much obvious love and attention to detail clearly having gone into the whole map, we just can't wait to cover every inch of it in tire tracks. Sorry, Playground. Between the action-packed opening, the sleek cover stars, and the daunting splendor of the map, Forza Horizon 5's big reveals pretty much have us revving our engines, begging to be let loose on the stunning open-world racer. But that wasn't even all we learnt recently, with Playground Games providing all sorts of other awesome little details in a casual, almost offhand sort of manner. Let me give you an example. Remember how we said that the stadium would be a great place to play around in Events Lab? That's because the lab is about much more than just building your own tracks and chucking objects around. It's actually a pretty in-depth rule editor based on the tools used by Playground themselves. So you should fully expect to see some wild creations coming out of it as soon as the Forza Horizon community gets into gear. And sticking with the more is more vibe that we've been getting from the entire game, they confirmed that the game will launch with a wider range of cars than any other game in the series. We should start getting a look at the full list soon, but since the fourth game arrived with over 400 cars in tow, you can bet this is going to be one packed garage. And you next-gen gamers who are looking forward to salivating over them in Forza Vista mode will be pleased to learn that those lovely ray-traced reflections will be available on both Xbox Series X and Series S. But the realism of Forza Horizon 5 goes way beyond luxuriously detailed supercars or weirdly lifelike mud. The team have poured a huge amount of effort into recreating the country and culture of Mexico as authentically as possible. That means street art from actual Mexican artists, new compositions from Mexican musicians alongside established hits, and a whole team of Mexican researchers, writers, and actors to make sure every bit of the game rings true. So, if the 5,000-mile trip over to the real thing isn't really in your budget, this should hit the spot just fine. With its vast and varied maps, stunning graphics, and wide array of game modes on offer, Forza Horizon 5 seems to have basically all of the bases covered. But feel free to sound off with whatever you're still hoping to see unveiled, and we'll be back soon with more Forza news, so don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell.